Whoa, look at that! It's real!
Incredible, it's glowing so brightly.
Are you seeing this, everyone?
It's fading, look, it's disappearing. What a night, unbelievable. It's looking right at us. Can you believe this? This is insane. Keep filming. It's starting to fade. No, wait. What a night. Oh, it's actually happening.
When your identity is your ideology, congratulations, you've officially screwed yourself. Because now it's not just an idea, now it's you. And when the idea gets challenged, you don't hear disagreement, you hear an attack. You build a bubble. A nice, soft, padded little bubble where everyone agrees with you, uses the same words, hates the same people, and claps at the exact right moments. And you will defend that bubble at all costs, even if it makes you sound incredibly stupid. Facts don't matter anymore. Logic's gone. Humor? Dead. Because admitting you're wrong would mean admitting you are wrong, and that's unacceptable. So you double down. And that's how you end up defending nonsense like it's sacred scripture. Not because it's true, but because without it, you'd have to actually develop a personality.
Good morning, America. How are you? I am Rabbi Dave, and today I will tell you something that I normally would not, which is that it's possible. We're still kind of debating it, but it's possible that I was wrong.
Good morning, America. I am Friar Rod, and I'm sitting here. It's a possibility. Oh my gosh, it's a possibility that I'm going to be shocked. I'm so shocked I can't even speak right now.
It's weird, I know, but everything that's happening in the world right now, right?
Yes.
China, the elections, fraud. What has my attention all freaking week? The Odyssey.
Yeah.
Look, there are things that matter to me, and there are things that don't, and maybe it doesn't matter to you at all. Maybe it's a movie you're not going to see anyway, so you just don't care. And I get that. I understand that.
The memes have been funny. They've just been they've been too much, I think.
Well, and I know I said last week I'm not going to see it. I'm still in that position that I'm not going to see it. However,
Okay.
Things may have changed. I may have been completely wrong about the casting of the chick who thinks that she's a dude. What's the name? Paige? It's saying my internet connection is unstable.
Yeah, Ellen Page.
How can my internet connection be unstable?
Yeah, you're turning red on me.
That's insane. How can
because you just fixed it. That's why.
Jesus. I may have been wrong about the chicks being cast in the movie.
It's going to be your upload speed.
Who knows? We're just going to continue on.
Why? What makes you say that?
All right. So I don't want this to turn into some collegiate level lecture about the Odyssey. But ... The problem is that everybody's upset because this chick who thinks that she's a dude, or pretending that she's a dude, and quite a sickly looking dude at that. Agreed? She is a caricature of what she thinks dudes look like and act like. Much as the guys pretending to be chicks are just caricatures. They don't understand what it really takes. And this chick is the same way. They do not understand what it actually takes to be a dude. So the appearance becomes weird. It almost AI-ish in the freaky weirdness of it.
Yeah.
They're pretending to be something they're not. And more importantly, they're pretending to be something. Remember the scene in Inglourious Bastards where he holds up the three fingers? And that gives him away because he doesn't know how to do that. Same thing here. Because she's not a dude, she doesn't know how to look
dude.
Okay? So it becomes this weird, sickly, dare I say, almost shadowish appearance. of a dude. Is it a dude, but not, there's something's missing substance-wise, right?
Yeah.
Same when you run into these transgender women. You know they're not women. They know they're not women. But there's this creepy vibe to it that's like, well, I'm acting, but I'm not really that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, in the Odyssey, Homer's book, The Odyssey, his epic poem, which follows on the heels of the story of the Iliad. Everyone is upset on the internet because this chick that thinks that she's a dude has been cast as Achilles, who's the mightiest warrior ever known in history, right?
And they're comparing her to Brad Pitt, who played Achilles in Troy.
Because he did a fantastic job. And he was believable as the world's mightiest warrior. Right? I mean, he just was. It was a great movie. And so the memes have become how this sickly shadow of a person is pretending to be Odysseus, or I'm sorry, pretending to be Achilles in the Odyssey. Right?
Yeah.
Now, first caveat. I don't think that she's playing Achilles. Nolan is playing this very cagey. If you go to the IMDb page, there's no role listed for her.
Yeah.
They're playing this very cagey. I believe that she is actually playing the role of Tiresias, who is the blind prophet. If you haven't read the book, you won't know. But there's a blind prophet. If you've seen Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Remember the guy on the train cart, the blind prophet? I believe that's the role she's actually been cast in. But I am no longer convinced that she would not be well cast as Achilles. And here's why. What is Achilles' role?
Wait. Why is that?
Okay. What is Achilles' role in the Odyssey? In the Iliad, he's the mighty warrior.
I have no idea because I haven't read it.
The whole Iliad is about Achilles being mad. The rage of Achilles. It's all about him being angry because Agamemnon has screwed him over and stolen his concubine. He's pissed off, and he goes and sits in his tent for X amount of years, a year, and just pouts and refuses to fight. And he's mad. And then when his friend, Patroclus, gets killed, he puts on his armor and goes out and murders Hector, drags Hector around the whole thing. It's all about Achilles' rage, and of course then he dies. But tucked into the story is this idea that Achilles doesn't even have to be there. He was given a choice. He was given an oracle early on. You can stay at home, and remember, he's semi-divine, and he's, a prince, so he's going to inherit a kingdom. He's given a choice earlier on. You can live a long, quiet life and die forgotten. Or you can go to this war and die in glory and honor, which to Greek thinking is a huge deal.
Yeah.
And so he chooses to go to the war, even though he knows he's going to die, but he's going to be covered in glory and honor, blah, 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 instead of living this long life. And it's a choice that he makes. With me here?
Okay.
Okay. Achilles is dead. All these people are dead. The war is over. Odysseus gets ready to leave. Achilles is dead. So why are we having this discussion about this chick playing Achilles in the Odyssey?
I don't know.
Well, those of you who have read the book already know that one of the tasks that Odysseus is given is to travel to the underworld to meet with Tiresias, because Tiresias has the keys, the information that he needs for how to get home. Okay. The blind prophet is the guy that will tell him, the dead spirit that will tell him, the shadow, as it were, that's the Greek word, skia, and he will tell him how to get home and what he needs to do. And don't kill the cattle on Helios Island. don't do this, don't do that, when you always carry an oar because Poseidon is mad at you, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
As they get there, and I'm not going to go through the whole scene of how they get to the underworld because it's really disgusting and blech. And it involves drinking anyway, and not alcohol. When they get to the underworld, they meet all the people that Odysseus has known that has died, including Agamemnon, who is now dead, others as well. And amongst them is a shadow, a skia, of Achilles.
Okay.
And the expectation you would have would be this dead spirit, covered in honor and glory, as the Greeks would say, remembered by all men and honored by all men, and blah, 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 right?
But, I hear a but.
Not what you get. What you get is a shadow of what used to be Achilles that looks defeated and shrunken. It's a shadow that has the appearance of what used to be Achilles without the substance.
Okay.
And it's very...
Because he was very shallow.
He was very shallow, but he's also now very regretful. And one of the things Odysseus says to him is, but you are remembered in glory and honor. And his response is, this ghost of Achilles, this emaciated, defeated, depressed, no longer boastful Achilles spirit, his response is, yeah, I'd rather be alive. I should have stayed home.
Yeah.
Now imagine we have this image of Achilles as Brad Pitt, this great warrior. That's not what he is in the Odyssey. And when you look at this chick pretending to be a dude, she has that skia to her, that shadow of the appearance of it without any actual substance, right?
Yeah.
And so in the Odyssey, that's what Achilles has actually become. Am I making sense here?
Yeah.
It wouldn't necessarily be a bad idea to cast that chick as the ghost, the dead Achilles. I don't think they did. I think they cast her as Tiresias. But I can see now, after thinking for a week, that maybe...
And seeing how over the top all the memes were.
Well, there was always something that bothered me
videos.
about it, because I kept, and even in my head last week when we were doing this, I kept saying, wait. The problem with these movies like this is you don't know what the script they're following is.
Yeah.
So even
it's
Troy,
clearly an artistic dramatization of it.
there's a translation that they're following, and it's not the best translation. It's one of the worst translations out there, Emily Wilson's. But even the film Troy is not the Iliad. It starts before the Iliad and works its way through this. Even Stephen Fry's fantastic book, Troy, is not the Iliad. It's a combination of all the stories into one. So you never know where the story's going to go. And you don't know, sitting here now, you don't know, are they going to start during the war and the death of Achilles? And is this chick that thinks that she's a dude going to play Achilles in that role? Or is this chick that thinks that they're a dude going to play Achilles, the dead regretful Achilles, which that might actually work.
Okay.
Wouldn't work in the Brad Pitt sense, but it wouldn't.
No.
The uncomfortable truth of the Odyssey is that Achilles is not glorious. He's broken. He's in the Iliad, he's the embodiment of heroic culture, Greek culture. There's this whole lecture that I attended one time about the Greek concepts of honor and glory and why they matter. And that's why Achilles is mad, because some of his honor has been taken by Agamemnon by taking his concubine, which is a story for another day. But he has that choice. You can go to this war and die famous, or you could stay home, live a long life, and nobody will ever remember you. And there's a lesson in that for today, because even as we talk about this chick that wants to be a dude, why is she doing this? Is she doing this because she just wants to live a quiet life where nobody will remember her? Or is she doing it because she wants honor and glory, what she
wants to be
perceives
seen as a man?
As a man. She wants to be perceived as living in honor and glory, which to us have a certain meaning, but to the Greeks actually had a different kind of meaning and a deeper meaning that is along there. Achilles' answer to Odysseus when he's in the underworld, it's like, man, don't praise death to me. Don't tell me how glorious and honorable my death is. I would rather be a poor laborer alive than king over all the dead. This sucks. And the man who sacrificed everything to achieve eternal fame is admitting that the bargain was a catastrophe.
Yeah.
He is now a shadow, and it's that Greek word, that Greek concept of skia. Shadow is the way we translate the word, but it's actually the root word for squirrel, believe it or not. Because a squirrel is a shadow with a tail. Comes right out of the Greek. It's kind of cool to chase this. But this whole idea of being something that you're really not. And the Odyssey, unlike the Iliad, is not about glorious conquest. It's about surviving. It's about endurance. And if you've ever read it, you know this. You know that it doesn't even start with Odysseus. It starts with his son, Telemachus, who is, dealing with Penelope and all the suitors coming to the island. That's where it starts. And he decides to go on a trip to see if he can find his dad, because nobody has any information about his dad. And that's how we got into that story of Aristus a few months ago and all those other things. Odysseus is not the strongest of the Greek warriors. He's a man, though, that manages to return home with his humanity intact. Achilles won immortal fame, but he lost his life. Odysseus almost loses everything, but he survives long enough to make it home. And that is a contrast that I think really matters here, because Homer is trying to tell us something that we have seemed to forget here. Civilizations love war heroes while the war is happening. But after the war is over, when the fires are out and the graves are full, that's when people start asking the hard questions, isn't it? What did this cost? What exactly did we achieve? And who paid for it? Achilles in the Odyssey is not Brad Pitt, the gleaming warrior, standing on top of the wall, waving his spear. He's a ghost. He's a shadow. He has no substance anymore. Confessing that he would trade all of that glory for one breath of just an ordinary life. And that's the final verdict on this whole thing. It's not celebration, it's not triumph, it's not mourning. And when you look at the casting here, you start seeing the same lesson. You start seeing someone who has no substance whatsoever. She is not a he. I'm not going to argue this. You can send me all the emails you want telling me, can't give me a minute. I don't give a fuck. They're not. You can look at them and see that they're not. It's an act. It's a skia. It's a shadow. There's no substance to it. And by the way, that word skia is also the original root of the word, right?
Right.
The original word was skiograph, which we have shortened to X-ray. It's the same word.
Huh.
You're looking at the weird lack of substance item in this.
Okay.
The last word that has come into our English language from this, this is where I really want to get with this idea of casting this chick as this guy, because it makes perfect sense. It's a perfect metaphor for where our society is. Skiamaki. It's a word that you've probably never heard.
Skiamaki.
Skiamaki. But it's in I guarantee you, if you type it into your word program, it's in the dictionary. It's there.
So what is it?
It literally means fighting with shadows. In today's language, we would call it shadowboxing.
Okay.
The implication, though, of schemaki is a little bit deeper. It's literally the idea here is you are fighting with something that is literally not existent, literally not there. And what do we have here? We have a person who is fighting a battle that is literally not there, pretending to be a dude with no substance to it whatsoever, purely caricature, purely pretend. And they have created this battle in our modern political system. They have created this battle fought over an identity concept that doesn't actually exist. It's completely detached from physical reality. These arguments rage not over what is, but over what people perceive, believe, declare, or even redefine. The language has become the battlefield. Definitions become the weapons. Entire political movements can begin to resemble shadowboxing, schemaki, not because the people involved are unreal, but because we're fighting over metaphysical abstractions that cannot be settled in material terms. And that's where civilizations go downhill. Civilizations lose the ability to distinguish between substance and shadow. TikTok, substance or shadow?
Shadow.
Facebook, substance or shadow?
Yeah.
And once a civilization does that, it eventually becomes a shadow itself. The entire civilization becomes shadow. Don't believe me? Wait till the next segment. In the end, Achilles is not standing triumphant beneath the walls of Troy. He's not a hero, but he's whispering from the darkness that the living had mistaken his fame for meaning. What did he die for? All that he would trade just to be alive and sweep the king's floors. It's the perfect metaphor to Castor. Welcome back. I'm Dave.
I'm Rod.
So I sent Rod a text earlier this week. It was yet another video from the interwebs where I'm hanging out, because apparently I haven't gotten it through my own head that this is shadow, it's not substance. But it was a tweak about a tweak. It was a tweet. It might have been a tweak. I don't know.
Hey, that's a new site we could set up. Tweak.
Speaking of tweaks, did I send you the video of the homeless people being booted out of Seattle for the World Cup?
Did you
Apparently
send me
there
a
was a
video, or was it a
It was
article?
a tweet, but apparently there was a ferry yesterday from Seattle to Bremerton. It's about an hour-long trip that was completely loaded with Seattle homeless people who are being shipped over to Bremerton, where they will no doubt tweak out, and everybody's having a fit because,
And ship them back.
yes, my solution is just put them on the thing and send them back, but who's going to pay for it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Bremerton's got to have more money than Seattle now, right?
At least we have businesses in our downtown. So anyway, I sent him this tweet about China, because China's in the news this week. And this was weird. I had to watch this thing probably 10 times before I even began to grasp what I was watching.
Yeah.
Did you figure it out? I mean, you probably saw it right away, but
I saw it.
they're driving along a street, and there are boys on scooters, motorized scooters. 10s, 20, dozens, I don't know. They're all the same scooters, and they all have the same yellow helmet. They are food delivery drivers, couriers is what they call them. In the background, on the street, in the row after row, are these Chinese girls with all the setup you would need to live stream something, and they're like right next to each other on the street corner, and they're live streaming.
They're angled just so that they can't get the other people in the shot.
Right. And some of them are doing things that look titillating, I guess. Some are not. Some are just standing there. And they're live streaming. And of course, as it turns out, their live streams cost money. Right?
Yeah.
And I have no familiarity with this. I had to go look all this up. Apparently, what they do, the people that are watching this, is they send gifts or tips or whatever.
They do.
Money. The dudes on the motorcycles, the scooters, are the guys watching the chicks right behind them. Is that what I'm seeing here?
Yeah. That's
They're
what it looked like.
They're taking food orders from people. They take the food, they deliver it, they get paid, they give the money to the people who are the chicks that are live streaming. The women then spend that money ordering food, makeup, and products, which the couriers then deliver to them. And it's like this, I don't know, weird ecosystem where these people who literally have nothing else to do because they have no substance in their life, they're a civilization that has become entirely focused on shadow rather than substance.
Yeah.
And they're just this loop, and they're not producing anything.
It's just like the Twitch streamers, because the Twitch streamers do that all the time. I mean, they get tips and you can donate. I used to follow some, and I would occasionally donate because they would have like gifts and things like that for people that donated.
Right. And I mean, we've been known to send out swag to folks that support stuff, but like we're not here saying, hey, if you send me $20 right now, I'll have Rod take off his shirt, kind of thing. We're not doing that.
Okay, yeah, we're not Oline Dave
for $20. Come
Rod.
Yeah. I mean, hey, $20 is $20, right?
Only frock.
Yes.
OF, only frock.
So, oh, jeez. This whole thing being driven by social media, which again is honor and glory. It's attention. It's the same thing. It's digital entertainment rather than traditional production or any kind of stable career at all.
Mm-hmm.
And it's become circular, and psychologically it's become dependent. These people are essentially passing money around inside the platforms rather than building anything of structure. They've made the choice to go die in fame and glory on the interwebs as opposed to staying home and actually building a life that has any meaning. And yet at the same time, the flip side of this, Rod, is that I guess the companies, the TikToks, the ByteDances, whatever, are, they're sucking them. They're taking their cut of this.
Mm-hmm.
Did I read this right? It's like $68 billion from this.
Potentially, yeah. That's a lot of money.
It's weird. And modern economies are increasingly rewarding attention more than production, which is how you end up with a chick who thinks that she's a dude, pretending to be Achilles, although that actually may work in the proper context. Most of human civilization's survival depended on producing things: food, steel, ships, cloth, roads, engines, and even finance to a degree. But these digital economies are breaking that down. They're breaking that chain. Enormous wealth flows not from making things, but from capturing and redirecting human attention. And I got to be honest, I've been working on this show for, 3 or 4 days now. I have never wanted to just shut my computer off more in my life, even after going out and spending a shit ton of money to get a faster internet.
That's still flaky.
It's still flaking, yes. It doesn't make any sense to me. By the way, this is not China, just China. You look at what's happening in our country. I mean, again, you got chicks that are think that they're dudes. You got dudes that think they're chicks. These people down in Disneyland, have you seen that creepiness? Oh, my God.
No, what?
These dudes that think they're chicks that go to Disneyland and film themselves at Disneyland.
Oh, I've seen there's one in particular that
well,
gets
more than
irate
one.
when he's misgendered.
Right. Is that the same one that sits there with the corn dog and explains the surgery that he's going to have? I mean, all of this is attention. This has nothing to do with actual substance. It has to do with, hey, look at me.
2 words, Dylan Mulvaney.
Yeah.
That's all about attention.
It's complete. There's no substance to it. It's just skia. It's just shadow. You look at them and in your head, and the same thing, you're watching this thing in China, and you're going to yourself, it's weird. There's something, and your brain is saying, well, I know there's something wrong with it, but I don't know exactly what it is because I've never really taken the time to think about it. It gets even worse. You start thinking about AI. You start thinking about Google searches. Let's do one right now. Hang on. Okay. Let me get my computer up.
I don't use Google searching. Well, it's because I use Brave browser, so it has its own little built-in search thing. I rarely use Google search. However, I use Gemini a lot, so that's just pretty much doing the same thing.
You would be very unique because, what is it? It's like 85% of the world uses Google.
Something like that.
If you go to google.com, to a Google search, I got my search bar up here. Let's type in what? Let's just type in Homer, okay? The poet Homer, Homer, right? I hit enter. Now, I am in what's called all mode because I've changed my settings. Most people haven't done this, but there's a mode called AI mode. Now, when I hit that, I get the name Homer usually refers to ancient Greek poet. He's credited with writing the foundational epics, the Iliad and the Odyssey. Could also be Homer Simpson from The Simpsons. And there's pages here, and you can go deeper and all of this kind of stuff. The problem is, now I've read this, I know everything I need to know about it. Right?
Well, you got your answer, right? You only wanted a brief answer.
I got my answer. Do I really need to know anything more? Homer was the epic poet that wrote the foundational texts of Western civilization.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess you don't need to know anymore unless you want to get into his writings, but then you would have to go deeper and actually click the links that it provided.
Why would I do that?
Because your attention span is shorter, Dave.
Well, I mean, for the average person here, we're not talking about my insanities. We're talking about the average person.
Sure.
Who's distracted by television, who literally filmmakers now. I was stunned when I read this, and then I started paying attention to it. 2 things that have changed in filmmaking in the last 10 years. The color palettes are now blah. And the reason is because of streaming. Bright, clear colors do not stream well.
Yeah.
But number 2, attention spans are zilch. So because of that, they have to do 2 things. Number 1, your average shot length is very short, 6 to 10 seconds, I think. Yeah. And inevitably, you will get a restatement of the plot in each act. They will go back through and explain to you what's happening again, either via exposition or narration. You didn't used to get that. You don't get that in Casablanca.
No.
You don't get those kinds of things. But because our attention spans are so short. So now Google has done this, which is great, right?
Well, yay. I mean, it's kind of like that they are, well, what they're doing, right, by presenting that is that they're shortchanging all of the quote unquote little people behind the scenes that have websites.
How so?
And news sites. Well, because the search engines are harvesting this information, then their AI is summarizing it for people. So they're not driving clicks to those sites. Where those sites have ads, they generate revenue, which they're not getting now because of AI.
Well, and they're also not getting the eyeballs on the work that they put, if they actually put any work into it. I mean, I was reading today about a book that I was looking at buying, and that was most of the comments was, this seems AI written.
Yeah.
There's no soul to this.
There's articles now. I look at people that I follow on even LinkedIn for that matter, and they post articles and stuff, and I grab the article content and I throw it into AI and say, is this AI generated? Likely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of it is.
I have to do that with photographs, and people want to put photographs on the subvet, and I'm like, is this photograph AI generated? Is it, I mean, and it's not that I don't like AI. I do. I use it every day.
Well, I mean, yeah.
But
this is kind of a dumbing down of things, and what it reminded me of, Dave, when we kind of talked about it the other day, was that it was Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451, the 1953 dystopia. Where firemen don't extinguish blazes, they ignite them, right? Because the books, vessels of complex, contradictory human ideas, are burned at 451 degrees to keep society shallow, happy, equal, and docile. From their point of view, depth is dangerous. Nuance threatens conformity. So that the people mainline wall-to-wall television, interactive TV, they have the in-ear radios, frictionless distraction was the whole point of that, right? Critical thinking atrophies. Individuality dissolves.
It's scary. And even Bradbury himself was upset later in life about the way Fahrenheit 451 was being interpreted as a censor. Professors were teaching that it was about censorship, and he was like, no, you've missed the whole substance of what I'm saying, which is that we're distracted.
Yeah, because right now it's not government censorship. It's a softer, market-driven, sold as progress for faster answers, better user experiences, equality of access. Everyone gets the same neat summary. So it's yeah.
And yet at the same time, when you look at that summary, it is a skia. It's just a shadow. There's no substance to it. You don't get from this search, a legendary blind bard traditionally placed in the 8th century BCE, credited with writing foundational epics. Can also refer to Homer Simpson, but you don't really get the meaning, the reasoning, the importance of it. You could never have a discussion about why casting a transgender chick who thinks that they're a dude as the ghost of Achilles might actually make sense. It could. I'm not saying I'm going to go see the movie, nor am I saying it's going to work. What I'm saying is maybe there's more thought in this, and I doubt it, but at the same time, given the translation they're using, which is so bad, it's there, and I don't know. I spent last year reading Homer. Last year was my year of Homer. I read the Iliad, I read the Odyssey, I read Stephen Fry's versions of it, which I highly recommend. They are not the Iliad and the Homer, but in the Odyssey, but they are very good. And they will give you a really good, readable overview if you don't want to slog through Homer, which is a slog. I'll be the first to tell you. I'm not against modern translations like that, as long as they maintain the substance. It's when they remove the substance and they become the skia, the shadow of what they were, which is what Emily Wilson's translation does. It removes the substance big time. And that's the translation that Nolan is using. And you see it in this Google search thing. You see it in what's happening on the streets in China. You see it here. Somebody sent me a text this week. Dave, go look at this. I don't know why they sent it to me, but you know what it was? It was film stars, female film stars, whose names you would know. Don't remember them off the top of my head, who have transitioned, not into dudism, but their career has transitioned into OnlyFans because they weren't getting movie roles anymore and they wanted to stay relevant.
I had one that I was following that just transitioned to OnlyFans, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't follow you now.
It's bizarre, but it's it's just because they want that fame and glory that they're chasing without realizing that there's nothing actually in this. And we risk, with all of this, we become a society that risks a sea of happiness, of knowing what we're being told, what we're being shown, but not why. And even worse than that, Rod, the conflicting arguments aren't getting through. Mm-hmm. There's a brief explanation here about the Homeric questions, but no actual discussion of it. The question is, scholars debate if he existed as a single person or represents a collective oral tradition. Want to have that discussion? That's it. That's all you're going to get from Google.
Yeah.
I'd love that. I love that question because I believe that he is a singular person. And I can sit here for 45 minutes and explain to you why I think so. Not going to do it because most of you, many of you, I'm sure, have already tuned out. What the hell is this? I came here for the jokes and I'm getting philosophy. Well,
we're a little morbid today.
Welcome to Goliardism. But I could do that.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it from Google. Maybe I'll do it on my own podcast. But the weird thing is, Rod, it has to do with my trip to the Holy Land.
Okay.
But that's a story for another day.
All right.
So it's so weird to watch this stuff happening and to watch it. And it's one thing to go, well, look at those dumb Chinese. Look at those guys. They're just stupid for doing this. Don't they understand? They understand attention and they understand chasing, like Achilles, chasing glory and honor. They don't understand that there's more meaning in a life well lived.
Well, and because the TikToks of the world are skimming off the top of that, it's in a negative loop, right? Because they're not making as much money as they could, and the guys that are delivering the food to these chicks, right? They're not making that much money, so they're going to have less money to give to the women.
So they have to work harder. Chase harder and harder and harder. And eventually they're going to die.
It's going to collapse.
Yeah. The whole thing's going to collapse.
Much like AI.
Well, that's a scary story, isn't it? What do you think? WTF? whatthefrock.org. I don't know. I'm liking this.
I find it funny that whenever you talk about people complaining, they always sound like the adults in Charlie Brown show.
Welcome back. I'm Dave.
I'm Rod.
Speaking of the impending doom and end of the world, brought on by AI.
Yes.
Which is stealing all our jobs. Except for deliveries, I guess. Has DoorDash become that now too? I quit doing DoorDash. I did DoorDash for about 2 months and realized I'm losing money on this.
You are, yeah. I did that briefly during the pandemic and realized, no, I'm losing money on this.
Right. Especially now with gas, it's $6 a gallon. It's just not worth it. So, Anyway, there's a lot of discussion about driverless cars. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago, where my son, we were talking about things that are going to change in your lifetime, and my son is absolutely on board with this driverless car thing. Number one, it means he doesn't have to learn to drive. Number two, it is the logical transition of technology, and I don't necessarily have a problem with it.
I think it'll be safer too, ultimately, right? Because it'll be coordinated driving between all the vehicles. They're going to be talking to each other, and
Well, you'd think that, but right
You
now
got to get the dumb humans off the road first.
Certainly, right now it hasn't done that because this week in Atlanta, which is a place I know well and love, I guess there's a cul-de-sac in a neighborhood street.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow or another, all the Waymo cars in Atlanta, and dozens of these cars, I mean, it's not one or two, dozens of these cars were circling this cul-de-sac because they got confused and thought that's where they were supposed to go, and they just kept circling around.
It's probably one of those like Google Map issues, right? Where it says the road goes through, but it doesn't.
I guess, but it was pretty funny. There's people out on their lawns filming this because that's what we do now. We don't...
Yeah. For attention, because we want to go viral.
Look, these Waymo cars are circling around and around and around and around and around and around and around.
With people in them?
Yeah, that I was not clear on if there were people in there, but I guess there could have been. But it does have a weird feel to it, doesn't it?
It does.
That nobody seemed to actually want to, I don't know.
Did Waymo have a statement?
I haven't seen it if they did. What I saw was a report that said it was something in the road that confused one of them, and it got all of them sort of like a cone or something, and it got people confused and it got people running every which way. But yeah, it was so weird, but it was funny. I mean, it's funny, but it's also kind of weird. And it's easy for us now. We're laughing at the robot for falling down. Ha 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 ha! Look, the robot fell down. Ha ha ha! Wait, the robot learned to stand up, and now we got Skynet coming down on us.
It was up to 50 driverless cars.
Right. That's funny, isn't it? Just circling around.
And Waymo stated they're committed to being good neighbors. That was the summarized statement.
I live on a cul-de-sac. I
do too.
That'd be kind of weird, wouldn't it? I mean, all these cars driving around and not knowing where they're going. Although it would be funny. I mean,
yeah.
I'm the guy that would pop some popcorn and kind of sit out on the front lawn and say, okay, let's see what... There was a whole movie about this years ago that got turned into another one of these terrible Netflix series. You remember the movie The Burbs?
Okay, yeah.
Tom Hanks, Carrie Fisher, and it's Henry Gibson and the kid next door who just sits on the porch with his friends watching everything that's happening. And it's like, this is better than TV. Same kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
You could do that. I don't know. I'm all these cars circling around and around and around. And it would be funny. But of course they're going to fix this.
Yeah.
And it's going to change.
Well, it's a part of software development. It's iteration, right? You come across something that doesn't act like it's supposed to, and you go through and okay, how do we fix that?
Right.
Continuous improvement.
That's what they tell us, but then we're up to Windows 11 now, and I'm not necessarily convinced.
You are.
I'm not necessarily convinced that it's any...
I'm still trying to convince you to go to Linux, so...
You are, but
I think Zorin Linux would be good for you. You could actually run some Windows apps on it. It handles that pretty well. It's a good starter Linux. But
in my copious free time,
well, you have a hell of a lot more free time than I do. So just saying.
How do you know that? I work hard, man.
Because you keep
I'm in here
teasing me about retiring.
Yeah, I'm just saying retirement is great. You should try it, but it ain't everything it's cracked up to be. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
talking about, I think you had on the list why people don't dance anymore.
Well, I was going to do that. Yeah, that's kind of the wrap up of this whole thing. Is
okay.
Why people don't dance anymore. Have you noticed? There's studies out there now showing that the younger generations, they go to clubs, but they don't drink and they don't dance.
Okay.
Do you know why?
Yeah. I don't know why.
Okay. Well, it has a lot to do with what we've been talking about.
Okay. Well,
but I don't know that we want to get there yet. I was more fascinated by two other stories. The pub desking story that I sent you guys.
Yeah.
What a great idea. This guy has opened a pub. This is in England, where you pay £20 a day or €20 a day, I guess, £20 a day, and you get all of this stuff. You get your desk, you get unlimited coffee and tea, 2-course light lunch, an electrical plug so you can plug in the stuff.
Okay.
You get strong Wi-Fi, and you get pints on tap. And you just sit there all day in this pub where they bring you food and tea and coffee, and you work instead of being at home.
Okay.
I thought, what a great idea.
Except for, a lot of companies don't allow you to drink while you're on the clock, so you'd have to wait till happy hour and then clock out and then drink.
How would they know if you're working from home?
Oh, I'm sure that they'll track the IP address to that pub.
See, my company, where I work, for me, I can drink here.
Of course.
I don't, but I could. The reason I don't is because occasionally I have to go drive places, and there you go. I thought it was a brilliant idea.
Another case for driverless cars, eh?
Could very well. That would be the best argument for it, wouldn't it? Cut down on DUIs until they start running into each other. Somebody hacks into it, which is bound to happen. So there was that. I thought that was a pretty cool story. I think the story out of there's a story in Utah about the AI data center. Have you seen this? Where the AI data center in Utah, northern Utah, has been canceled. And it's confusing about, was it canceled because the Mormon women for the ecology, which is an actual thing, were upset because, I'm not making it up, Mormon women for conservation or something.
Okay. Just when I hear stuff like that, I think, People's Front of Judea. Or is it the Judean People's Front? I don't know.
I want to be a woman. So anyway, they're not going to build this thing now because it's been stopped. But the people are complaining because the money that funded these front groups that stopped it is from China, who is, of course, competing with us on AI and data centers.
Okay.
So I haven't dug into that one completely.
Well,
I also found out that the reason that the Odyssey movie, despite my early soliloquy, that it might not be a bad thing to cast a chick that thinks that she's a dude as the ghost of Achilles. But it turns out that the reason this movie is so bad, I'm told now, is because of the dun-dun-dun Jews.
Okay, yeah, that's right. To which I stated, well, it certainly wasn't the Orthodox Church that.
Yeah. There's a guy out there telling us that the Jews are the reason the Odyssey has been crushed. And it's just one Jew.
The comments were horrible, too.
The comments are just like scary. And that's what I said was, it's got to be just one guy because I was not invited to that meeting. Right? Yeah. I was not invited to the meeting where we said, how can we screw up the Odyssey as a people and a faith? How can we screw up the Odyssey so that it will piss off conservatives, Nazis everywhere?
Okay.
So I didn't have anything to do with it. I was out of that movie. So there was that. And then, of course, there's the whole Bremerton thing, but I don't think we got time to get into that today. Oh, Weird Al's going to do his musical now.
Yeah.
Got an email from a friend this week who finally, this is what she said. You ready? I got to read you this because I don't want to misquote what she said. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see. I have just now finally gotten around to listening to What the Frock the Musical.
Okay.
It's really good.
Okay.
It's really funny and quite clever. And she goes on for some praise personally for me, which, is glory and honor. But good job, she says.
Okay.
So thank you for that.
Your skia is unaffected, but there you go.
My substance is still here. This all came out of a conversation about my Liberty 250 stuff, which she had heard, and she was like, "This would be a better musical than Hamilton." So, yeah, it would be, but anyway. So people are still enjoying that out there. Okay. So you know why people don't dance anymore? You know why young people don't dance?
Well, they could dance if they want to. They could leave their friends behind.
They could, but if friends don't dance, then they're no friends of mine. But
yeah,
the bottom line here is all this stuff that we've been talking about, which is weird because people on TikTok or live streaming or Twitch will basically, or OnlyFans will basically do anything for money. But when you're not getting paid, these people are literally afraid. This is what the study showed. These kids are afraid that they'll get videotaped or they'll get camera phoned or whatever, streamed, dancing, and they'll look like dorks. Or they'll do something stupid while they're drinking and they'll look bad, and they don't want that on the internet. That's why kids aren't dancing anymore.
Well, we knew this was coming, though. I mean, when you start canceling people, the way it was over the last 10 years, right? It's ramped up. But when you start canceling people, that's going to basically shutter those types of behaviors because of fear.
Well, it's Seinfeld. It's the Elaine dance, right?
Yeah.
I mean, my camera's shaking. Sorry. I'm doing the Elaine dance.
Yeah.
Camera for those of you not watching. But yeah, I mean.
Or the Carlton.
The Carlton, yeah. Hey, here's the key for you youngsters out there. Everybody that dances looks like a dork with the exception of Michael Jackson. He's the only one that didn't look like a dork. Everybody else looks like... You don't believe me? Watch the Jackson 4 behind him. They all look like dorks. All right, the Pips didn't look like dorks, but... Yeah. But they had Gladys Knight out in front of them, and nobody was watching them anyway, so...
Most people are not professional dancers, so you don't have to worry about it.
But they're terrified they'll get videotaped, they'll get camera phoned, and get put on the internet.
Didn't it turn out well for the lightsaber kid?
It seems to have. Or did he... didn't work out well for the kid that played Anakin, right? Didn't he go BS?
Yeah, he had some problems, yeah.
I don't know. I do know this, and I will end on this note. NASA has announced that they are planning to go deeper into Uranus than ever before. Not making that up. It's an actual headline from NASA.
Does NASA, do they hire proctologists?
They're going to send a probe to Uranus.
I believe it's Uranus, but go ahead.
On that note, I'm Rabbi Dave.
Friar Rod.
And this has been a very substantive episode of
What the Frock?
So grab your frog and come aboard. This nonsense can't be ignored. We joke, we gripe, we spin, we sing. While Rome burns on, we'll do our thing. What the frock is going on here? We may not know, but still we cheer. Raise your voice, your glass, your brow, because the frock is happening now.